Tonight on the February 9th edition of Newswatch, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals blocks President Trump's immigration ban.
And several of Iowa State's clubs are working to make your Valentine's Day a special one.
I have the latest in Cyclone sports in the NBA.
And the cold weather is on its way out. Warmer temperatures are on their way in. We'll talk about how warm it gets and how long that lasts coming up. All that and more. Newswatch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
No, it's gone. Hello, and thank you for joining us on tonight's edition of Newswatch. I'm Coley Bergren.
And I'm Nick Rembert. Here are tonight's top stories.
Our top story tonight, the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously voted to block President Donald Trump's immigration ban. The controversial order has received much backlash and criticism for its discriminatory action against citizens of 7 Middle Eastern countries. Judges across the nation have instated stays against the travel ban. The Trump administration stands by the legality of the order and has criticized the judicial branch for interfering. The administration is likely to appeal the decision to the United States Supreme Court.
Last night, Senator Jeff Sessions was named the Attorney General after a 52-47 vote in the Senate. Sessions is the most recent nominee to be confirmed to President Trump's cabinet. Senate Democrats led by Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren fought the nomination heavily, citing a 1986 letter by Coretta Scott King criticizing Sessions, then appointment as a federal judge. The Senate will be voting on the next cabinet appointee Secretary of Health and Human Services, Tom Price, by the end of the week.
Dallas County officials say that nearly 6,000 ballots cast in last November's election were not counted in the final tally. Dallas County Auditor Julia Helms discovered the mistake last week, where 5,842 absentee ballots were ignored in the reported total. Fortunately, Helms says the misplaced ballots did not affect the outcome of any of the election, and steps are being made to avoid this problem in the future.
A mother of 2 in Phoenix, Arizona was arrested and deported Wednesday after 22 years of being in the country, possibly being the first Mexican woman to be deported under the new Trump order. 36-year-old Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes had been checking in with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement since she came to the States when she was just 14 years old. There is no word yet on whether Reyes will seek legal action against her deportation.
Kellyanne Conway, one of the president's top advisors, landed herself into some hot water this morning by promoting Ivanka Trump's fashion products. In an interview with Fox News, Conway urged viewers to purchase products designed by the president's daughter. Government experts say that by doing this, Conway has violated several ethics rules by using her public office to promote private goods and products. Conway has already faced a lot of scrutiny for claiming the existence of a terrorist attack in Bowling Green, Kentucky that never happened.
President Trump's immigration executive order continues to spark reactions from all over the world. Tisa Tolinar and Lindsay Greifzu give you a look at how students from Iowa State were affected, what they're doing about it, and how the university has reacted.
Iowa State University has a wide variety of international students, including 115 from Syria, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, and Sudan, the 7 countries affected by Trump's immigration order. The order bans people from these countries from entering the U.S. for 90 days to supposedly prevent terrorism.
We are here not only for protesting, we want to get awareness to others that we are safe people.
Like, all of us want to contribute to solving a problem, solving our problem in different disciplines. You can see our contribution to Google, Microsoft, Uber. Whenever we have the high tech, you can see records of Iranian professionals.
Student reactions have been very supportive of the students. The Student Senate issued an official statement showing support for the students and faculty from the 7 countries.
That's the best thing about Iowa State.
The reaction from Iowa State officials hasn't exactly matched that of the students. The International Students and Scholars Office issued a letter to the 115 students that only offered resources to assist, not support.
It kind of hurt, honestly. I understand that the administration of the university, they can't, just pick up the phone and then call the White House and ask them to cancel the executive order. But at the same time, they can just, they can always be supportive.
Abu Falga believes the lack of support increases fear, making other people reluctant to come to America.
Being in a country where you might be detained just because of your nationality or something like that is not a comfortable place to go to, I guess.
The order has been lifted temporarily, but that leaves these students unsure of their futures here in America. For ISU TV, with Tisa Tolinar, I'm Lindsay Greipsu.
An Iowa State professor is considering running for Iowa's 4th congressional district seat. Dirk Deeb, a professor of political science for 17 years, said politics should be connecting people instead of dividing them. The next congressional elections will take place in 2018, and it is unclear which party Deeb will run under.
After the break, Iowa State students take to campus in solidarity for Muslim students affected by the ban.
Stay tuned, you're watching Newswatch. Welcome back to Newswatch. Over 200 members of the Iowa State community joined in the Hoodies and Hijab Solidarity March this morning at the Memorial Union. The event brought attention to racist, xenophobic, and Islamophobic oppression from the government, primarily President Trump's recent executive order, banning people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. Marching and chanting throughout campus, the march joined up with Academics United and the Agora. Throughout, students and staff members spoke about what it means to them and the community.
Thank you all for coming here, and thank you for your support.
Make this a sanctuary school!
Yeah!
No ban, no wall, sanctuary for all!
We wanted to come out to support and say, again, we love you, we're glad you're here, you're not in this alone, and we will be arm in arm resisting this.
Valentine's Day is approaching quickly, and why not be able to give your special someone some art? The Memorial Union is setting up a pop-up art sale taking place outside the University Bookstore. The sale starts at 10 a.m. and goes to 2 p.m. on February 9th, 10th, 13th, and 14th. The shop will contain alluring original art made by local artists from the Ames area.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, Iowa State's Horticulture Club is selling flowers for that special someone. Roses can be pre-ordered now and picked up on Valentine's Day, or you can take one to go the day of. Prices range from $5 for a single rose or a dozen roses for $50.
Sigma Kappa sorority and Pi Kappa Pi fraternity are hosting a philanthropy February 13th and 14th at Parks Library called Pretzels and Pebbles. Stop at Sigma Kappa to pre-order a package of pretzels for $2 or head over to Parks for coffee, pretzels, or a flower and a pretzel bundle. All the proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association and the ability to experience get that special someone or yourself the perfect Valentine's Day gift and donate to some amazing causes.
The Business, Industry, and Technology Career Fair was held yesterday at Hilton Coliseum. More than 150 companies were there, allowing students a surplus of employers to talk to. Their main target is graduating seniors, but it's a great experience for ISU students to get their foot in the door for future careers.
A new club on campus is raising awareness on the importance of bone marrow donation. Brianna Campbell tells you more.
Of over 800 student organizations on Iowa State's campus, one new club is looking to raise awareness for a special cause to be the match.
The 70% of the time you would be giving, it would be like a stem cell transplant, so it would just be like giving blood or plasma, like Megan said. And then the other 30% of the time, when it is an invasive procedure, you're be giving to a child.
Be the Match is a smaller club on Iowa State's campus looking to raise awareness for a big cause.
Be the Match is an organization that works to promote the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry to get students to join that, so that when people who have a bone or a blood cancer need someone to donate bone marrow or stem cells, then they have somewhere to turn to find those people so that they can get better.
Like any charity organization, Be the Match holds philanthropic events to support the cause that they are passionate about.
We have a big event in April called Cheek Week, where we will be working to promote Be the Match all week long, and we'll have small donor drives on campus at the dining centers, and we'll try to have some free food and that kind of stuff as well. And then that will lead up to our big event called To Be Bald.
Although some people may have reservations about donating bone marrow, Be the Match says signing up to be a donor is their main goal.
You don't actually donate unless you match with someone, which is about a 1 in 540 chance, which is pretty small, but if you do match with someone, you are definitely giving that person a second chance at life.
You can learn more about Be the Match on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ISU Be the Match.
Be the Match's service events will begin in April, with Cheek Week starting April 3rd and Call to be Bald the week after. For ISU TV,
The bone marrow
I'm Brian.
donor. Go to bethematch.org.
We're now joined by Hayley McPike. What's new in sports, Hayley?
Well, Coley, we have the results of the ISU men's basketball game and an incident with the New York Knicks right after the break.
Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Hayley McPike, and here's the latest in Iowa State and national sports. Former New York Knicks legend Charles Oakley was arrested last night after a fight broke out at Madison Square Garden. The incident occurred in the first quarter after words were exchanged with team owner James Dolan. Security escorted Oakley from the arena, where he was charged with 3 counts of assault. Oakley played for the Knicks for 10 years, and now he may never be allowed back to watch his former team. Last Tuesday night, Iowa State traveled to Austin, Texas, and lost to the University of Texas Longhorns in a close battle. UT started off the game with a 22-5 run. Eventually, the Cyclones caught up but fell short in the end. The final score was Texas 67 and Iowa State 65. The Clones were led by seniors Matt Thomas with 17 points and Deontay Burton with 13 points. Burton also chipped in with 8 rebounds and 6 steals. This Saturday, the Cyclones will try to bounce back with a visit to Norman, Oklahoma to meet the Sooners. The Iowa State Classic is back for another year of action, as they are hosting this year's event at the Lead Recreation Athletic Center. The indoor track event takes place all day through February 10th and 11th. A brief list of all the activities taking place include the high jump and pole vault, 800-meter race, and a 5K race. ISU will be hosting universities from all over the country for indoor track and field. Tomorrow night, ISU's gymnastic team will go back to Columbia, Missouri to compete in the Missouri Quad Meet. The competition will take place at the Hearn Center at 7 p.m. The number 25 Cyclones will face hosting number 13 Missouri, along with number 14 George Washington and Lindenwood. Iowa State's wrestling team will also be traveling tomorrow night. The Clones will head to Pennsylvania to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers at 6 p.m. Later this weekend, ISU will take on the Mountaineers of West Virginia University. The match will be on Sunday starting at 1 p.m. in West Virginia. That's it for sports. How's the weather looking tonight, Zane?
Well, Haley, right now, most of Iowa is in the 20s out there for temperatures, but coming up, we're going to be talking temperatures moving up into the 50s in the next couple days. We'll time all that out coming up right after this. Welcome back to Newswatch. Right now here in Ames, we're sitting at 17 degrees out there under clear skies. Our winds right now are out of the southeast at 12 miles an hour. Across the state, mostly the same. Off to the north and east, 19 degrees up in Waterloo, 17 here in Ames, and then 20s across much of the state. Off to the southwest, it's just a bit warmer, 27 in Council Bluffs. That's kind of, you can look off to the southwest even further in our Midwest shot here. Over in North Platte, Hayes, Kansas, Denver's still at 53 degrees at this hour of the evening, so those are things to come as we move into tomorrow. The big weather story across the country right now is this nor'easter that's moved up the East Coast, finally starting to wrap up and move off the coast of Maine into Canada. So they had plenty of snow out there today, areas of up to a foot or more in New England and parts of the mid-Atlantic. So
plenty of action out there. Not so much here in the state of Iowa. We're just going to be dealing with this warm front that's going to shift across the state as we move through the evening tonight. That's going to switch our winds out of the south, bring us much warmer air as we get into tomorrow. Your Friday is going to be plenty warm out there, and then another warm front's going to kind of meander its way to the north out of Missouri a little bit as we get into your Friday evening. That kind of dies out, and it's just going to bring us mostly some clouds as we get into your Saturday, maybe just a few chances of a light wintry mix, maybe rain, maybe snow. It depends on the temperatures as we move into Friday. But so your lows tonight, all right, 20s for the most part across the state. These are going to happen pretty early, pretty much right as soon as you hit midnight, and then temperatures are going to rise through the night on our way to this beautiful map right here. Highs in the 40s and 50s, 40s off to the north and east, off to the south and west, maybe even touch close to 60 as we get into your Friday. Keep in mind, our average high is only in the mid-30s across much of Iowa for this time of year, so it's going to be pretty toasty for February out there. Tonight here in Ames, low of 50, again on the upswing. That low is going to happen pretty earlier in the night. And then clouds as we get through the evening, and then we get into tomorrow, high of 50 degrees here in Ames. Spring-like conditions, little breezy with those south-southwest winds, 10 to 20 miles an hour. As we get into your Saturday, there's that chance of a wintry mix or so on that to start the weekend, high of 48. 42 on Sunday, just a little bit cooler. And then check out the most of next week. Not a chance of precipitation through the entire next 5 days, and temperatures are going to stay in the 40s, so it's going to be pretty darn nice for this time of year. All right, stay with us. We have much more Newswatch coming up.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Smartphone developer Samsung had a little bit of a setback after one of its production lines caught fire. The fire was caused by lithium-ion batteries, the same ones that were recalled with the Galaxy Note 7 last year. Over 100 firefighters were sent to the Chinese factory. Fortunately, no one was injured in the fire, and the Samsung had stated its commitment to future development of safer batteries.
For the second week in a row, Ames patrons gathered at a bar in downtown Ames to grab a beer and write a postcard to state and federal lawmakers. This Tuesday, the London Underground Bar held an event called Postcards and Pints, where people can express their feelings on the current political climate. Last week, people wrote more than 300 postcards to Senators Joni Ernst and Chuck Grassley in Washington. On Tuesday, more local issues were the topics of discussion. Event organizers say they are going to continue postcards and pints as long as there is still public interest.
This is not a Photoshop trick or the use of too much self-tanner. An alligator in Charleston, South Carolina is bright orange. Residents living near the pond say they have seen the orange or rust-colored alligator numbers of times. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources says the color may come from where the animals spent the winter, a rusty steel culvert pipe. Experts say the alligator will shed its skin and probably return to a normal shade soon.
See, that's what happens when you use too much bronzer.
That's going to be it for tonight's Newswatch.
Join us next Tuesday for more Iowa State news.
Have a good night, Ames. Stay tuned for more Ames Tonight.